Hey all, welcome to the Crawford Institute of Pop Culture Collectibles and this week's Favorite Collectibles and this week's favorite collection. Now today I'm going to combine two very popular licenses into one favorite collection because I don't really have enough of each one to make a long enough video. So we're going to look at Terminator and Robocop today. Now, there's going to be a few items that you're not going to see. I have a few quarter scale figures down in the basement, down at my bar. I will get around to one of these days doing a video of all that stuff. So there'll be a few things missing, but this is 95% here in the Institute. Now we're going to start with Hot Toys. And of course, Hot Toys has done a great series of Terminators based on pretty much all of the films. I loved this version with the police uniforms. They did a fantastic job on the police uniforms. I thought that the bullet effects were great. The head sculpt is fantastic. It's just a great looking figure, and you really had to have him both in the regular police uniform and in the patrol uniform, the motorcycle patrol uniform. Just a great outfit. The large Terminators in back, those were 600s, I believe, and those are they did a bunch of different variations on these, wearing different amounts of clothing, having slightly different fake skin heads. You'll see a couple of more of them here in a minute, as well as a few different endoskeletons that you see as we go along. It's a pity that they haven't visited this line much in recent times. I wish they would give us a better Sarah Connor. As a matter of fact, this is sort of the best Sarah Connor they did, and this is one that's actually the Terminator, as Sarah pretended to be Sarah Connor. Here we have two more of the Arnie Terminators, the T-800s. They're very nice. They did a number of different versions, battle damaged and regular. We are going to return to this little guy here in a few minutes. Another one of the endoskeletons up front. And the other Sarah Connor. Like I said, nobody's done a really fantastic Sarah Connor. This is about the best we've got. I do have the Sideshow one around somewhere, but I can't really hold a candle to even this one from Hot Toys, as old as it might be. Now, they also dabbled a bit in some of the more recent movies, as you can see by the Terminator Salvation figures here. I did like these. I picked up all three of these. But that was about the last of the Terminator Hot Toys figures I purchased. We have a couple more of the Ernie versions here in the front. Arnie versions here in the front. Now, I said I would return to this little guy over here. Palisades was planning on doing a 4-inch series, a 1/18th scale series. Shortly before they went out of business, they had gotten the license, and this is one of the 2-ups, obviously, for the T-800. It was a line that really looked great. They had a lot of the 4-inch prototypes at some of the toy shows before they went belly up, and unfortunately, we never got any of those. Now, we've got some big stuff. Up here on the top, we have the quarter scale. This one here happens to be from Sideshow. It's not bad. I've got a better one that they produced in the house, along with one of the endoskeletons that was Hot Toys version. To the left there is their version of Robocop. That is the premium format version of Robocop. He used to be in my basement, but then he got replaced by the Pop Culture Shock version. Another quarter scale Robocop that is really great. But if you're looking for a bit more of a bargain, there is the NECA version, which, you know, they did a quarter scale of just about every great license. And that's their Robocop, which they did a nice job with. Now, down here at the bottom, Hiya Toys has been messing around with a lot of different 1/18 scale figures, different licenses. And they have done these for Robocop 1, 2, and 3. These are battle damaged versions that I kept on the card, because in a minute you will see the non-battle damaged version ones. We could get a little bit of a closer look at those. So we'll swing around to the other side where we have a few more figures to check out. And we'll start with some of those Hot Toys Robocops. Like Terminator, this is a line that they haven't really done enough with in the last few years, but they really did some nice work in the beginning. That Peter Weller sculpt is just outstanding, and of course you have to have him both in the Robocop gear and pre-Robocop. You notice I was one of the lucky ones. There's no damage to the dome. The rubber is nice and clean still. And this Robocop here, we're talking the very first Robocop I think Hot Toys did. This was like MMS 10 or so, maybe 12, the most. It's a pretty early figure, but they did a really nice job on him. This is one of the figures that sold me on starting to go down the Hot Toys rabbit hole. In front are 3 more of those Hiya Toys 1/18 scale figures. Like I said, they did one for Robocop 1, 2, and 3, and these are the non-battle damaged versions that they released. If you haven't checked out the Hiya Toys stuff and you're a big fan of that scale, you really should. They're pretty sweet. They've done a lot of Aliens and Predators as well. Mezco messed around a bit with Robocop with their Mezits line. I think that was the only set they did there, but it was something. The new Robocop movie did not do much to impress me, neither did the suit, so that's why this one figure is the lonely modern Robocop figure in my collection. Both McFarlane and NECA have hit up the 7-inch scale. Here we have some Terminators from a couple of the different movies, including Terminator movies that are best forgotten, but Terminators that are still pretty sweet. And McFarlane also did Robocop first in his scale. He's back up there in the back. Now I know it was also an NECA version, but this old Movie Maniacs version is really a nice figure, and I haven't found any need to replace him at this point. So there we have Robocop and Terminator. This week I'll also be doing a acquisition report. I've had probably 5 or 6 new items added, so that's plenty to talk about. So until Friday, I hope you have a great collecting week.